And we're joined by Mountaineer head coach Dana Holgorsen as West Virginia gets set to take on the Tigers. You've been in a lot of big games before. You've played against a lot of very good teams. When you put the tape on and you've watched LSU this week, do they stand out as one of the best you've seen?
Yeah, they do. They're they're not second in the country for no apparent reason. So they're they got a good established program. They do a nice job recruiting. They got good coaches. They got good players, a good recruiting base, and they do a good job of creating as much energy as they can for not only the program but for playing down in and down out of pretty good football.
Let's talk a little bit about their defense. You watch them on tape and you watch them in game situations. The biggest thing that comes out is just incredible explosiveness on snap and great speed. How do you try to work against that?
Well, you got to be smart with what you're doing, and Gino's really got to do a good job of getting the ball out of his hands. I mean, there's not going to be as much time as there normally is, and we're not going to have wide open people running open too. So, our guys got to pick their game up. They got to play fast. They got to play physical because they are a very physical football team on all three sides of the ball. And we got to match that. We got to somehow manufacture plays to where we can get the ball out of Gino's hands and in the hands of guys that can not only make a guy miss, but be able to, match their team speed as well.
You mentioned in your press conference earlier in the week that they've played the fastest team when it comes to tempo in Oregon. You don't play quite that fast, but you like to play it pretty quick. What did you learn from the Oregon game specifically in regard to how they handle tempo?
That they've worked on it all summer, because you can tell on tape when guys aren't prepared for that kind of tempo. I mean, they have defensive guys laying around everywhere and they're not lined up. That wasn't the case against Oregon. They did a good job of lining up, and we go into each game with the same thing, whether they can handle it or whether they can't handle it. If we get into a little bit of a rhythm, then we want to go ahead and push the envelope on it a little bit. That just suits us more than it suits the defense.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about chemistry here. The Maryland game was one in which your lead was cut down to 3 points. The crowd and the momentum was all on Maryland's side, and you come back with a nearly 6-minute drive. You end up getting a field goal. It forces Maryland to come back on their last possession to try and score a touchdown. What did you learn about your team from that drive?
We've been talking about it for quite a while, and that's obviously not the last time that we're going to have some adversity in a football game. When we have adversity, how's this team going to react? How are we going to have guys step up? Are we going to have offense point fingers on defense and defense point fingers at offense? Or are we going to be able to remain together and play together to the point to where we can squash that momentum and be able to overcome some adversity? Which, by talking about it and then seeing it play out, it told me that we got a chance to be a championship football team.
Coach, we wish you the best.
Thank you, Noam.
And we're joined by WVU's defensive coordinator, Jeff Casteel. West Virginia getting ready to take on the Tigers. Now, you saw this team a year ago down in Baton Rouge. Different environment this year. Much different when you put that tape on offense?
Well, no, they're a little bit more two-back than what they were last year. They were a little bit more 11 personnel, very similar to Maryland in terms of personnel, but a little bit more rock'em, sock'em, two-back, two tight ends, and run a little bit more power running game.
Steve Craigthorpe is their offensive coordinator. Do you see similarities to what he was doing at Louisville?
Well, some of the passing game, and I think that they had a little bit of a change with their offensive line coach is calling plays also. So, I mean, there's similarities. I think that they know that they have a really physical front, physical running back. They have a 280-pound fullback, and so I think they know where their strengths are. And then they have obviously great skill kids, and they're going to get the number 10, the wideout that worried us like crazy last year. They're going to get him back for our game. So they've got and they can spread the ball around and do a lot of different things to hurt you. But they're going to try to run the football and play actionists and get out on the perimeter.
It's old-time football, isn't it, Jeff?
No question about it. They will. They're coming in here to try to run the football at us, and they're very successful at it. They're a big physical team, and I think they're better up front this year than what they were at this time last year. So we've got a big test in front of us.
Yeah, you take a look at their offensive line, and there are some kids that were first first-year starters a year ago, and all those names are all the same, so they've got that experience from a season. What did you learn about your defense last week?
Well, you know, again, we played well at times. We just, you know, I think we just ran out of gas a little bit in the second half. But the thing that was positive is that we did make some plays to help turn the game. And obviously we get the big play at the end of the game when Ian intercepts the ball, and Terrence scores a touchdown, and that ends up being the difference in the game. And I think for the most part we were pretty successful in sudden change opportunities, which was big for us. So, we're growing. We're gonna have to grow up a whole lot come Saturday night.
Yeah. Jordan Jefferson, the quarterback a year ago in West Virginia, went down to Baton Rouge. Now it's Jarrett Lee. Give me your little synopsis on him.
Accurate. We saw him a little bit last year in our game. Gets rid of the football quick, and they'll dink and dunk you when they want to, and they'll throw the ball out of two tight ends. They'll throw the ball out of two backs, and he's very, very capable. And they're going to take a shot or two down the field, early in the game, and they've been able to hit some of those. So he's got a guy, he can throw the ball up, and he's got guys that can go get up underneath of it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it all plays well, Jeff. We wish you the best.
Well, it'll be fun.